What's up, everybody? Renfail here, back again with more Shattered Space. I just wrapped up the Sunday stream, and we have kind of officially finished our second playthrough of Shattered Space. There's a couple little more things that I want to do on Monday morning's stream, but I wanted to get my final review out because those are things that aren't going to impact my review at all. They're just a couple little things I want to do, like go hire the crew members, which I still haven't done. So my first playthrough was 16 and a half hours, and I gave it like a soft score of like 7 out of 10 after the first playthrough. I then came back to do a second playthrough, which I've done over the past few days, going through and doing things that I didn't see on my first go around. Quests that I missed, like the orphanage quest, which we did today, which was absolutely amazing. That was a phenomenal quest line, extremely emotional, superb voice acting, great dialogue, and a perfect example of the type of content that Shattered Space has within it that the speedrunners are never going to see in their little 3 to 5 hour runs that they do, and then they go and claim there's no content in Shattered Space, there's nothing to do. Meh. So I think at the end of this, just to get the score out of the way, and then I'll talk about the things I like and dislike and so on and so forth, I would give this an 8 out of 10 at the end of the day, as my final review. The soft of 7 out of 10 was me coming off that first playthrough and going, you know, I like this, that, and the other, and there were some issues with this, that, and the other. And then as I've played more of it, some of those rough edges I've seen sort of get smoothed out as I've played through the DLC in greater depth. I think my total storyline playthrough right now, in terms of all the content that I've seen and storyline that I've experienced, brings me up to around 20 total hours. Even though if you look at the stream sessions, I probably have closer to like 60 hours. But I do a lot of talking. We do a lot of just hanging out with the community. We did a New Game Plus section for like 3 days where we were getting Andreja getting her faction up during my second run through, so that was a little bit of lead up time. But total time in Shattered Space, I am about 20 hours, and I know for a fact that there's still stuff that I've left on the table. As an example, the Goose storyline, the Mother Goose series. There are more Mother Goose things to explore. I'm going to try to find some more of those on Monday morning's stream, which will air, I believe, I think this is going to be airing on Monday morning. So the stream that comes after this today, we're going to be going in, looking for the crew members, maybe finding some more of the Mother Goose stuff, and seeing what else we might have missed along the way. But generally speaking, I've got 20 hours in through 2 different playthroughs, 16 and a half on the first one, and then coming back and not even the second playthrough, I was completely ignoring the things I saw before. We just went and did things that we hadn't seen the first time. I still have not gotten the Fang armor nor the Fang weapons. So I did get one weapon though. Let me look at it really quick because I did pick this up. I'm gonna grab my controller. This was one of the weapons I got. Actually, this might be. Yeah, this is the Long Fang weapon actually. This thing, which was absolutely freaking kind of cool to shoot around. I did get this. So there is that. So there's still stuff that I haven't seen or done. There's armor sets I haven't gotten. There are weapons I haven't finished collecting. There's obviously a lot more here. We've had people in our comment section talking about 40, 50-hour playthroughs doing their completionist runs. Some of that does depend on the difficulty that you're playing on too. So I think it's just your mileage is going to vary. But if you're seriously putting time into this, I think I would estimate that you're going to get 20 to 25 hours on a base playthrough, and then beyond that, just depending on how deep you want to go. So in typical Bethesda fashion, this game has, this expansion has a lot to it. A lot of it is deeply buried. So there are things that you won't come across unless you are actively looking for them. So there's a couple of examples I can give. One is the orphanage quest in and of itself, because it's kind of tucked away. But during that orphanage quest, there is a moment, and I don't want to spoil it here, but there's a moment where you are talking to an NPC. Well, you're not talking to, you're observing an NPC. And there's an action that you can take during the observation of that NPC, which leads to that NPC having an interaction with you. But if you don't do the thing while you're in observation mode, it leads to a completely different resolution. And it's not obvious. It's not as obvious as just hail the NPC and talk to them. Similarly, I think it's called the Path of Remembrance quest line goes back to like the Morrowind days, and Skyrim days and stuff, where you get a quest where you're supposed to go find these 4 temples, and it gives you clues in this journal of where to find those locations, but it doesn't give you waypoints. So you have to go out and explore a little bit. Now, I did find a couple of them by sheer accident because as I was roaming around the landscape in my rover, they popped up on my map as quest objectives, and I went, "What are those things?" Oh, those are the temples. But you do have to pay attention to the dialogue if you want to know where to go. Otherwise, you can just sort of drive your rover around, and you'll eventually stumble onto them if you're going into the clearing of the map. So there's quite a bit of content like that, which is off the beaten path that you're never going to come across if you don't go looking for it and if you don't pay attention, because there's no quest markers leading you to it. And there's nothing obvious that tells you this is where you need to go, this is what you need to do. You actually have to read the journal, decipher the clues, go from there. So I liked having that mixed in with the traditional, like, quest marker objectives where it's sort of like follow the waypoints from point A to point B. Similarly to what I said in the first review, with Bethesda quests come the reality that not all of the writing is top-notch. There is some writing that is exceptional. There is some writing that is sort of tropey. And if you're someone who gets triggered by tropey writing and you're like, it's just not good enough, that's just garbage, well, then you're definitely going to see some of that. But there is also quite a bit of really good quality writing, such as the orphanage quest, the main quests, the brother quests where you have to resolve that issue between the 2 brothers. That was a phenomenal quest. The shopkeeper who needs you to rescue her brother, that was a great quest. There's some really good stuff in here, but not all of it is immediately evident. You do have to go out there and explore the game to come across some of it. But there's way more here than just the main storyline, which, again, yes, you can beat the main storyline in 3 to 5 hours, which you could also do in Phantom Liberty, because I see so many people who are negatively talking about Shattered Space, trying to compare it to the Phantom Liberty DLC for Cyberpunk, saying, but that DLC did this, 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 and this. It had about the same runtime, roughly 30 hours, 25, 30 hours, if you did a total run through of it. But you could also complete the main storyline in about 3 to 5 hours without ever touching any of the new mechanics, without touching any of the new weapons, without seeing any of the new NPCs, without doing any of the new, side quests or anything else. So it's really easy to see where if you speedrun anything, whether it's Phantom Liberty or Shattered Space, you're only going to see a fraction of what's there. And my review is about the totality of the DLC, not just the main storyline. So there's a lot of content here. Some of it's exceptional, some of it is middle of the road, some of it is your kind of fetch quest tropey stuff. But that's par for the course for any game that comes out. It's not something that takes away from the experience for me. I know as someone who has 20 million words in print, not everything that I've written has been absolute top quality, top-notch stuff. I've definitely done some work over the years that's not been on my best days, and it is what it is. So it's the totality that we're looking at here. The visuals in this are absolutely phenomenal, which you can see here behind me. We're doing a rotational view as we're standing here. We're outside the city. It's been a breathtakingly beautiful DLC. What's up, Mama? You coming over and saying hi while we're doing the review? Hi. You can come say hi. She got scared. Come on, Mama. I know you want to be out of the body wrap. We'll get out of it soon. We're gonna go outside and you can play in the sun for a little bit. The overall exploration component of this was pretty big. It's a really big map, and there are a lot of waypoints that you're just not going to see because they're not tied to quests unless you get off the beaten path and go explore. A perfect example is this cave right behind me, which we went into. That cave right there. That is the Mist Haze Cave. Not related to any quests that I'm aware of. Maybe it is, and I just don't know. But there was definitely some stuff in there related to something. And then if you look at the map here, we showed on this the other day. If you open up the map, you can see lots of waypoints, which we don't even have this popped up yet. But this is the monastery that's up over in here. I don't know of any quests that are related to this per se, but it's a massive POI that you can explore with zealots, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. And the map is filled with this. I believe they said 50. I don't know if there's more than 50, but I know there's at least 50 original POIs and places to explore on this map. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. And then, of course, there's the procedural stuff that you can go see after that. And if you want to go outpost building, you can. But there's a lot to see and do just on the planet here for those who want to sink their teeth into it. There are some new weapons, some new armor. I've heard some criticisms that things are just reskinned. But I think that people who complain about reskins don't really understand how game development works, because every game that has ever been published reskins assets. Mass Effect series reskinned their assets. Every MMORPG you've ever played reskins assets. That's just, it's kit bashing 101. Things get reskinned in the course of game development. It's just how these things are developed. If you've worked in game dev, you know this. If you've never worked in game dev and you're triggered by things like that, I'm sorry for you. That's just how things are done. But there are still some, at least original for me. I've done 650 hours through the 2 playthroughs, including Shattered Space. And like as an example, I never saw like this weapon that I'm wielding here. I don't know that I've ever seen a gun that looks like this. And this is the modified, refined Varun Longfang. If this is a reskin of something, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal to me. I also found some cool, like we have, let me go down here, like the guard uniform. I absolutely love the guard uniform that I've got on Andreja. Where is she at? Because Andreja has the scarf outfit. I don't know where she's at right now. She's around here somewhere. She might be down there killing something. Where is she? Andreja, come here. I want to show the. I bet if I get in the rover, I can get her to pop here because she'll be in the rover. And then we can talk to her really quick. Because she also, there she is. She has the scarf outfit, which I got. Oops, I think we're blocked. So there's plenty of original outfits and things that you can see. Like I absolutely love this for her. It's very still, like a still suit from Dune. So I found plenty of cosmetics. I found plenty of new weapons that I'd never seen before. There are some new outpost parts for those of you who are into building outposts. I know some people had complained about there not being ship parts. That didn't bother me at all because they never build this as anything other than a story DLC. And I went into it, you know, I pre-ordered the premium edition when the game launched, and I knew going into this that it was just going to be a story-based DLC, so I was anticipating lots of story, and I was not disappointed. The key thing here is that this storyline is mostly about Andreja. Andreja is like the canon character you're supposed to bring along on this DLC, and that's another trigger point for some people, is they are like, oh, there's no new romanceable companions in this DLC. I don't think there should be. This is Varun. You know, this is Varun Kai. This is all about her. Like, this is her starting planet. This is where she came from. So tying this first DLC to her as a character is for me, that's all that I ever needed or wanted to continue the adventure with Andreja. I always want to say Andreja, but it's Andreja. So for me, it was a great story, bringing her along as a companion and getting to see her reaction. And my second playthrough, this is one of the things I love about Bethesda games and other RPGs, is when, as an example, this time through, I took different traits with my New Game Plus. So not only did I have Starborn options for dialogue, I also had things like my Serpent's Embrace options, which allowed me to have additional interactions with not just the people, but also with Andreja. So that was pretty cool as well. Um, the performance on the Xbox Series X, which is where I play, has been hit or miss. On performance mode, it's absolutely perfect. Obviously, you take a bit of a graphical hit when you're playing on performance mode. I streamed the entire first playthrough in quality mode, and we definitely had performance hitching in some of the really big POIs like that monastery when I was in a heavy combat when there's like 15, 20 mobs on screen trying to shoot at you. There was definitely some performance dips, and you could feel it getting in that, 25 to 30 FPS range. And also running around in the rover, there were some performance issues when playing on quality mode. When you have it on like set to 60 frames, but have it preferring quality, it would there was some hitching. So performance is definitely something that I think that Bethesda is going to have to continue to work on with Starfield, especially as it relates to the rover. And not just on this planet. I also noticed when I got the rover and was doing my second playthrough leading up to Shattered Space, we were on one of the planets I was building outposts on, and we were going through a heavily wooded area on quality mode, and there was definitely some hitching going on while driving the rover, and it's because of how quickly the rover moves, and it's trying to load the assets ahead of the rover, and it just can't keep up. So there's definitely performance stuff that could be worked on, which I'll definitely take a point off for that. Um, there's a lot of issues with colliders. This is not a rover-friendly planet, so driving around on this planet is a nightmare because every one of these little rock outcroppings and stuff is just it's gonna muck up your rover, and it's gonna muck up your character when you're trying to run across the landscape. So there's definitely some performance issues. Frodo, come here, buddy. Here, I'm gonna bring him up while we're finishing the review because he's down chewing on stuff that he shouldn't be chewing on. So those are definitely things performance related that I would say dock a couple points off. Sure, I think it would have been cool to have more main story, but compared to most DLCs that I play, pretty much every DLC I play only offers 3 to 5 hours of main storyline content, and the rest of it is going to be more side content, so I'm okay with that. I would definitely have loved to see some additional ships, which we didn't see any original ships that we could buy. That's the same complaint that people had about ship parts. I would have loved that. It didn't have it. It's not that big of a deal for me because, again, this was billed as a story DLC, so I'm not chuffed about it. It's one of those things where it's just like, it would have been cool if they did. So, for me, 8 out of 10. I knock points off for the performance. I knock points off for some of the tropey sections of dialogue, but there were also some really fun quests in here with really good, high-quality writing. What's up? You're being a good boy right now. Yes, you are. I had a great time. I'm really looking forward to whatever comes down the pipeline later on for Starfield. This does wrap up my second playthrough. I'm over 650 hours now between those two playthroughs, and we are on to lots of other things. So hopefully we'll see you in everything that comes after this, because we're about to roll into Diablo 4's Vessel of Hatred, and then after that we've got New World Eternum, and then we've got Black Ops 6, and then Dragon Age Veilguard, and then Stalker 2, Indiana Jones The Great Circle. We've got Dune Awakening next year. We've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Avowed in February. We've got Greedfall 2 and Path of Exile 2 early accesses, and Tales of the Shire, and so much more, guys. So hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Daily streams happen at 9 a.m. Mountain on YouTube and Twitch. I have a lot of cats. We have a Homestead channel. Hopefully we'll see you there as well. Don't forget all the socials and the Discord and the Patreon. I'll see everybody in the next one. Stay safe out there and keep enjoying the stars, everyone. Don't let anybody take the skies from you, because they're yours and yours alone.